Good morning, book lovers of the internet. Welcome back to my channel. I am Book Nerd 802, and I don't think I've ever felt as hollow and alone as I do now that I finished the third season of Squid Game. I watched it between the 27th and the 28th of June, the second I could find it online, since I do not have access to Netflix, and it completely broke me emotionally. I thought I was dead inside, but apparently there was still something within me left to be shattered, and now I think there isn't anything left entirely. So, the message this show tries to convey is indeed a powerful one, and although I wasn't expecting a happy ending because the director himself said that there wouldn't be a happy ending, I did not think it would cause me such turmoil emotionally. And in this video, this is just a fair warning that there will be heavy spoilers ahead, so please click away if you haven't yet watched the season and if you plan on doing so soon. So, yeah, I started watching this show. I was introduced to this show about 4 years ago now, before my first year of undergrad at university. And needless to say, I binge watched all three seasons simply because the suspense left me no choice. And this season in particular felt especially like masochism every time I clicked the right buttons to watch the next episode, because I knew that each episode would cause me even more pain than the last. I was still recovering from the pain of having lost some of my favorite characters and then losing even more in the next episode, and so on and so forth. It was a very vicious cycle. So, yeah, basically we, as you know, if you watch the second season, we had a pregnant woman, an elderly woman and her son, a trans person, a person who had already won, and many people with sick family members at home or ambitions that they would never see come to fruition. They were all taking part in the games, and yeah, I mean, basically it's fair enough to say that all of them died as expected, if I have to be honest. So yeah, this diversity is what made seasons 2 and 3 especially interesting, but the baby was definitely not worth all that drama. Honestly, um, I'm not saying that I would have killed the baby personally, but certainly there could have been sacrifices made to save more people, more of a utilitarian approach to the whole game, but the greed towards the end just left the games devoid of any shred of humanity, of all sense that people are human, basically. Everybody was seen as a chunk of meat, and the VIPs didn't really make it any easier for them. So, yeah, some sacrifices here and there could have saved many lives, and after player 456 tried to save everyone, I felt as though the games became increasingly cruel, especially as far as hide and seek was concerned. It's almost as though um, the creator of the games went to an extra length just to see these people suffer because they rebelled, because they saw what was so wrong with such an activity. As I might have already hinted at, by the way, my favorite characters were dying like flies, and I'll explain what I would have done in certain situations accordingly. So, just to give you some context, even more spoilers ahead, by the way, there was a scene in which a son had to kill his elderly mother in order to survive. She was the one who told him to kill her just to see him survive because she'd lived long enough. She didn't really want to live any longer anyway, but instead of killing his mother, he tried to lunge at the pregnant lady, and to save the pregnant lady, the mother stabbed her own son in the back. So, yeah, I don't think I would have killed my mother, but never would I have attempted to kill a pregnant lady either. So, in that situation, I think I would have just taken the L, do the right thing, and die, basically. I'm not saying that I would have killed myself or anything. I would have just waited for the game to be over and to be killed by the guards, basically. So yeah, not that such a decision would have made much of a difference, would have mattered much in the long run, because all the characters died save for the baby. So yeah, the baby just made everything complicated. And without it being there, I think more people would have survived. But there's something special about life having just started, and there was a much needed portrayal of innocence within the show because, as I mentioned, humans were no longer seen as human. They were all dehumanized, all the rights taken away, basically. Even though they signed to be treated in such a way, um, the numbers given to them as well were another way of dehumanizing them, of taking away their identity. But at the end of the day, it was all part of their decision. So yeah, I mean, there was a need for innocence within the show, and it's crazy to think that several people wanted to kill the baby because they didn't believe it was fair for it to be a part of the show. There are several Marxist themes within this show as far as capitalism and freedom are concerned, and although the games can be said to be democratic and all players voted to be in such a position, nobody on the island is truly free. They can't really make their own decisions because ultimately all of them will die. That is their destiny from now on. So, yeah, they do not have freedom despite all the decisions they can make. So, then there was also the lunchbox scenario during the sixth game, the final game, which would have made more sense had the players taken action quicker, but they were just wasting time and missed out on several opportunities to save their own skins just to make a baby a billionaire, basically. Then we also have Gihun's final words, which sent shivers down my spine, especially considering how he'd lost his faith in humanity a long time before he died on his own terms. Um, I never thought that I would hear the words player 456 eliminated. Um, I wasn't anticipating for that to happen. And the way he goes, um, we are not horses, we are humans, and humans are. He stops there, he doesn't say anything further, almost as though he doesn't even know how to think of humans anymore, as though he's lost faith within humanity. He doesn't have a way of describing humans because they're so greedy, their morals are so skewed, especially when money is concerned and when greed has a lot to do with it. So, yeah, then we have the frontman as well, just branching out to give you more context. The frontman did not participate in any of the games this season, and I don't understand how nobody brought him up or was suspicious as to why he wasn't there. And the old man, the player 100, really pissed me off with his greed, and several other characters fully exhibited how little they think human life is worth through their actions, which were, of course, repulsive. And some more of my opinions, by the way. Let me know whether or not you agree with me in the comment section. As much as I do think that money is necessary to live a happy life, I definitely do not value it over human life. And to be completely truthful, I think that also depends because most of the players on this island were irresponsible, unwise, and the human equivalent of garbage. So in that aspect, I agree. I'm not going to lie to you, but I definitely do think that there is a gradient to the value of life. But then again, bigger moral questions arise, and many moral dilemmas come up when saying such a thing. But I do believe that since we have the illusion of thinking we make our own decisions, where they lead us is totally our responsibility, and we have nobody to blame whether or not everything that happens to us in life is preconceived by a greater being. Ultimately, we have to take responsibility for our actions, for our decisions, whether or not we have control over those decisions. So then again, just a bit of a conclusion here. Many people have been saying that the ending was garbage, but I, however, totally understand why the director went in that direction, and I totally agree with him. I mean, there is a lot left to be desired. There is so much closure which we were not given. I suppose that emphasizes, that further highlights how much death takes away from life and how lonely death can be, especially when so many people are dying left, right, and center, when the value of life is being lost. And the only thing which proves to be of redemption is the fact that the baby survived all of this. So, what bothered me most was the way in which the VIPs were speaking. And I am not sure whether that was intentional or not, but their voices sounded artificial and their accents pissed me off. It felt AI generated for some reason. It didn't feel real at all. The conversations were just awful. Not only because of the things they were saying, but also because of the way they sounded. There was something completely off about the way they were speaking, which did not fit into the aesthetic of the show. And anything American that showed up in this season really felt out of place. And I am hoping against hope that Squid Game America does not happen because I guarantee that it's going to be garbage and will ruin the legacy of this brilliant show. I don't care if Kate Blanchett forms a part of the show. She's extremely chopped anyway. She doesn't look attractive at all. She's definitely not a salesperson I would want to see in a show. She doesn't look like a great actor anyway, so I don't really care. So yeah, and some final remarks, I suppose. I'm not sure what the purpose of the detective was in all this, because he was as useless as a fork in a bowl of soup, but I suppose the island did go boom boom in the end, so the games in Korea can be considered to be over after so many years. Um, One has to keep in mind that these games have been going on for about 40 years, as far as I know, perhaps even longer. So it's insane how many people died over the years and how the police never really grew suspicious over what's been happening. So yeah, the games were of course interesting and the rules brutal, but the search for the island felt unnecessary and out of place most of the time since nothing much was happening, and the police did not even take anyone seriously since the concept of the games comes across as so ridiculous, which only adds to its genius. There is something so aesthetically pleasing, so systematic, everything is so organized, everything is well thought out, well planned about these games, and yeah, it's honestly genius, even though so many lives are being lost year after year. So, in my opinion, um, this season does deserve a 4 out of 5 stars. Overall, the show, I think, would also be a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a brilliant show, one which I will definitely not stop thinking about. One which is very thought provoking, one which will teach you a lot about society and about how people think of others, where people's priorities lie, that sort of thing. So I would definitely recommend it, and I can tell you that my rating of 4 out of 5 stars is also approved by Van Gogh, by the way. So yeah, keep that in mind. He's a brilliant painter. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Take a look at the rest of my content because why not? It's absolutely amazing. And I'll see you in the next one, hopefully very, very soon. Bye, guys.